Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for all these character sheets and like and subscribe for a smashing time next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Izuku Midoriya, also known as Deku from My Hero Academia, a boy who takes the old do your best motto to its absolute limit. Deku is the kind of dude who would push himself beyond his physical limits, possibly even ending up hurting himself to save the day. I can't relate because what I do isn't actually important. New videos every day this month, though. Enjoy that.
Friends help you when you're in danger. Friends are people who are not strangers. Friends.
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need one for all, the ability to transform ourselves into something that hits much harder. That also needs to come at a cost though, so we'll get some penalties for going above and beyond. Finally, we need to eventually not take that penalty, so we'll fix it so we don't have to deal with it. For stats, Deku is such an anime boy that we can't really make him work with the point array and will instead need that point buy. Seriously, he's strong, fast, smart, observant, and inspiring, so let's just go with 13 in strength, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, with a 10 in constitution, because if there's one issue you have, it's not being able to handle the force of all your might. But you can't really blame the kid. He was born without superpowers, just like all of us. But what if you wanted to learn a new skill and didn't want to break your arms to do so? Well, you could always check out today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes to help you figure out how to develop new skills and deepen your existing passions. I mentioned in the last video, Bryn Chernoff's Introduction to Modern Calligraphy course is the perfect way to get started learning the power of the gods, but there's also classes for digital marketing, editing, painting, and even cooking. I've wanted to expand my Midwestern palette for a while now, and classes like Shefali Ravula's 5 Easy Techniques for Mastering Indian Cooking are great for doing that from the comfort of Minnesota. Whatever quirk you're looking to develop, Skillshare has a class for you. They're all ad-free and membership costs less than $10 a month. Learn how to make some one-of-a-kind gifts or give your loved ones the gift of Skillshare directly so they can make something for you next year. The first 1,000 people to sign up with a link in the description get a free trial, so check it out and get your skills on. Now back to the video. To push everything a little bit higher, we'll be a normal human, not a variant one, giving us +1 in every stat. We're not using the point array, we're not using variant human. This is breaking all of the Tulok traditions. At least we can build our own background for history and perception skills, call it the obsessive fanboy background. If you remember All Might, we replicated one for all by making a bonk, or a barbarian monk. Deku will be a bardonkadonk, which is a bard and a monk. I'm guessing that seems like a weird pick, but it'll pay off big later and pay off medium in the short term because it's actually a really good way to make Midoriya. First, you can grab 3 skill proficiencies of your choice from anywhere. Athletics, acrobatics, and investigation will be my picks. You also get bardic inspiration, which are d6s you can give to your classmates as a bonus action to use for an ability check, saving throw, or attack roll while you shout some helpful advice because you've been stalking them. I mean researching them and taking notes on their abilities and strategies. That's stalking. That's a surveillance state. You also get cantrips and spells like Thunderclap, which forces a Constitution saving throw of 8 plus your proficiency bonus and charisma modifier on creatures within 5 feet of you, dealing 1d6 thunder damage to those that fail. True Strike is a great spell for reminding pedants and gatekeepers that you don't want them to be a part of your community because you've been making this joke for 8 months now, and some people still aren't taking the hint. If you're not pedantic and you don't try to bully people out of the hobby, I'm not dunking on you. Thanks for being here. It also gives you advantage on a weapon attack next turn, but that's bad, just attack twice. For your first level spells, Heroism makes a creature immune to being frightened and gives them temporary HP equal to your charisma modifier to be the bravest of boys. Long Strider increases a creature's movement speed by 10 feet for an hour to get some superhuman speed. Not like Tenya speed, but still pretty fast. Thunderwave is a bigger Thunderclap, forcing a Constitution saving throw on creatures in a 15-foot cube in front of you, dealing 2d8 thunder damage to those that fail and pushing them back 10 feet. Have as much and no pushing if they succeed. We'll call that a Michigan Masher. Featherfall prevents up to 5 falling creatures from taking falling damage as a reaction. Considering how high you'll be jumping by the end of this, it's good to invest in a gentle way down. See that? Everything from the first level of Bard fits Midoriya perfectly well. You just needed to trust me. Second level Bards get Song of Rest, letting you sing a song to your friends so they recover an extra d6 on short rests. Like like Midoriya does. Okay, that one doesn't really work. But Jack of all trades might as well be called Anime Boy because it lets you add half your proficiency bonus to skill checks you're now proficient with, making you kind of good at everything. For this level spell, Earth Tremor lets you break the ground a bit, forcing a dexterity save on creatures within 10 feet of you, dealing 1d6 bludgeoning damage if they fail and knocking them prone, while also turning that area into difficult terrain. It's kind of a weird and specific spell, but you're all about weird maneuvers that enemies don't really know how to plan for. Third level bards get expertise, letting you double your proficiency bonus with 2 skills of your choice, like athletics and perception, to get some real super strength and weirdly acute powers of observation. You can also choose a Bard Academia, and Valor bards make friends hit harder thanks to combat inspiration, letting your allies add your inspiration die to their damage rolls or to their AC as a reaction when someone is attacking them, depending on whether your advice is offensive or defensive. Just remember, there's a fine line between helpful advice and annoying correction. For this level spell, Shatter forces a Constitution saving throw on creatures in a 10-foot radius sphere, dealing 3d8 thunder damage to those that fail. It's particularly effective on inorganics and objects if you need to Detroit smash a wall. Fourth level bards get an ability score improvement. Strength is probably your biggest, fanciest feat, so we'll invest in that for now. It will also help your unarmed attacks, which at the moment are just dealing 1 plus your strength modifier and damage. That's bad, but if you get the strength modifier higher, it's a little better. Believe it or not, having the greatest superpower in the world is actually pretty high level stuff. I highly recommend just using a sword or something for the moment. For this level spell, Enhance Ability gives a creature advantage on ability checks of your choice for an hour depending on your concentration. If you choose Strength, they can double their carrying capacity. For Dexterity, they won't take falling damage from heights of 20 feet or less, and Constitution will give them 2d6 temporary HP. I'd say Strength is probably the most helpful to help you yeet a car. Fifth level bards get a Font of Inspiration, letting you recover your inspiration die on short rests instead of long rests, in case you've been up pulling all-nighters training and still want to help your team. The die also bumps up to a d8 for better help. You can also learn third level spells, but I don't like any of these for you, so just grab Knock to break a lock or hinge with a giant explosion that can be heard from 300 feet away. You're not really picking the lock, you're full on smashing the door. Sixth level bards get an extra attack, letting you attack twice instead of once with your action for 2 really terrible punches or 2 pretty good hammer smacks if you just grab a hammer. For this level spell, Warding Wind surrounds you in a 10-foot radius sphere that is deafening. It puts out fires, dispels vapors, and makes the area difficult terrain for creatures that aren't you. Ranged attacks aimed at the creatures inside have disadvantage. It lasts for 10 minutes depending on your concentration. This is another weird one, but I think you can find a way to use it. 7th level bards learn 4th level spells. Freedom of Movement lets a target ignore difficult terrain, their speed can't be reduced, and they can't be restrained or paralyzed. They can also break out of shackles with 5 feet of movement. You're a tough kid to pin down, and this doesn't require concentration, so you can keep it up with other spells as well. 8th level bards get another ability score improvement. Bigger strength will be paying off big time soon, but training takes a little bit of time. You can't expect to be the #1 hero overnight. For this level spell, go back to the first level for Identify, which will tell you what a magical item is, what it does, and how many charges it has left. Use your big brain to figure out what the tech kids made so you can shut it down with punching. 9th level bards can learn 5th level spells. Legend lore lets you know more about a person, place, or thing of legendary renown. The more you already know about it, the more information you get. You are a full-blown superhero geek, and we don't really have the ability score improvements to invest in intelligence as much as I'd like. This kind of takes care of that. 10th level bards get another set of expertise. I'd go for history and acrobatics. This will also help round out the things that we can't invest in. This bard thing is working out pretty nicely, isn't it? It works out even more nicely thanks to Magical Secrets, which lets you steal superpowers from other spell lists. Jump triples your jump distance for a minute. I know it's not the most exciting spell, but Midoriya is good at jumping. Gust of Wind creates a gust of wind that's 60 feet long, forcing a strength saving throw on creatures inside. Failing that, they're pushed back 15 feet. Even if they succeed, they have to spend 2 feet for every 1 foot of movement in that area. It lasts for a minute depending on your concentration, and you can change the smash's direction on your turn if you want. Your inspiration die also bumps up to a d10. 11th level bards can learn 6th level spells, but I don't want any because Tasha's took tensors from me. That was hard to say. Instead, grab skill empowerment. That's going to let you give a creature expertise in a skill they're already proficient with for up to an hour depending on your concentration. You can use this to make one of your other skills insanely good, or to help out your team. You really are good at giving people advice. 12th level bards get another ability score improvement. Let's cap off our strength to punch as hard as Detroit. Are cities good at punching? I guess if they all punched collectively as a unit, that'd be a big punch. 13th level bards can learn 7th level spells, but hey, I also don't want any of these right now, so grab Dispel Magic from the 3rd level. That will remove effects of a spell on a creature of 3rd level or lower automatically, and higher level spells with a charisma check of 10 plus the spell's level to make sure that you can shut down quirks like your teachers do. Not quite as well as they do, but pretty good. 14th level bards get some more magical secrets, and that means it's time to truly smash with Tensor's transformation. This lets you give yourself 50 temporary HP, advantage on attack rolls with simple or martial weapons, which means you have to use a weapon, 2d12 force damage to all of your weapon attacks, which does include your fists and doesn't need a weapon. You've got proficiency with all armor, shields, simple weapons, and martial weapons, and proficiency with strength and constitution saving throws. This all lasts for 10 minutes depending on your concentration, and when that's over, you have to make a DC 15 constitution saving throw to see if the egg pops in the microwave. That just means that you're going to suffer a level of exhaustion. It's probably important to note that you shouldn't be using your fingers for spell slots. Now, you can't cast any spells while this is active, but you can still cast spells once the spell's done, and while the spell's active, you can hit like a frickin' truck. Why would you be casting spells anyway? We'll also be able to fix up that exhaustion issue right away thanks to Greater Restoration. That lets you remove a level of exhaustion by 1, or end the effects of one of the following on a creature. Charming, Petrification, reductions to ability scores or hit point totals, and even curses. No matter what situation the villains are throwing at you, you gotta be prepared. And also get rid of the exhaustion stuff, because, that's bad. Valor Bards also get Battle Magic, letting you make a weapon attack as part of the same action you use to cast a spell. Remember, punches are weapon attacks, so that'll work to cast Tensor's Transformation and punch in the first round. Now that we have that, let's get a little bit faster with a dip into Monk. First level monks get martial arts, making your unarmed attacks deal 1d4 bludgeoning damage plus either your strength or dexterity modifier. Go for strength because it's better. You can also make unarmed attacks as a bonus action after you make the first attack. Mixing that in with Tensors means that you can deal 3d4 plus 6d12 plus 12 damage now with your super sweet punches. Of course, you can't use martial arts if you're wearing armor, so it's a good thing that unarmored defense makes your AC 10 plus your dexterity and wisdom modifier when you're not wearing armor. The UA Academy uniform is pretty darn light, and it works out pretty well. Second level monks get key points they can use to do hero stuff like Step of the Wind, which lets you dash or disengage as a bonus action and doubles your jump distance for the round. Mixing that with your amazing strength score and the jump spell, you'll effectively have a flying speed, clearing a maximum of 108 feet horizontally or 42 feet vertically. Patient defense lets you dodge as a bonus action, which honestly isn't the best option considering something that we're getting later, no spoilers. Flurry of Blows lets you open up the ultimate smash potential with 2 unarmed attacks instead of 1 with your bonus action, getting supercharged with Tensor's Transformation. To just go a little bit faster, unarmored movement makes you a little bit more speedy when you're not wearing armor if you need to get out of the disaster faster. Third level monks get to choose a monastic tradition, and open hand monks get to really supercharge that flurry of blows with the open hand technique, either forcing a strength saving throw of 8 plus your proficiency bonus and wisdom modifier to push creatures 15 feet away, a dexterity saving throw to knock them prone, or no save to just prevent them from taking reactions. It's not easy to make an opportunity attack when a teenager sends your spleen into your skull. You can also deflect missiles, letting you reduce the damage from incoming ranged attacks by 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier and monk level, and even yeet it back with a key point for some superhuman reflexes. 15th level bards can learn 8th level spells, and glibness will make dispel magic pretty busted. This means that the lowest you can roll on a charisma check is a 15, and you still get to add your charisma modifier to that, meaning that you're going to give some great class speeches if you're the valedictorian. Could also be Todoroki or Momo. It's a brainy class, honestly. Your inspiration die also bumps up to a d12 so your teammates can hit almost as hard as you do. Hopefully none of them have an inferiority complex. 16th level bards get another ability score improvement, but I don't like using spell slots to get rid of exhaustion, so why don't we just not get exhausted in the first place? Grab the resilient feat for constitution for +1 to the score, and proficiency with the saving throws. At this point, your proficiency bonus is +6. That should help you keep the exhaustion off when you're sending out smashes. Our capstone is the 17th level of Bard for the ultimate try-hard buff, the Foresight spell, giving you advantage on your attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks. You can't be surprised, and everyone attacking you will have disadvantage. Lasts for 8 hours without concentration, so you can pair this with Tensors to be an absolute monster. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, pairing Foresight and Tensors is very good, with advantage on every roll for saving throw proficiencies and extra HP. That also brings your damage up to 4d4 plus 8d12 plus 20 damage when you use a flurry of blows, not to mention huge damage from critical hits that will be landing more often with advantage on the attack rolls. Finally, you're incredibly mobile with extra speed from Monk and Longstrider and a massive jump distance with jump and your strength score. For weaknesses, it's going to take a second to get all your buffs going, even if most of them don't require your concentration. You've also only got 14 AC if you want to use martial arts, so even giving people disadvantage to hit you isn't really going to matter. You're going to take some hits. Finally, you've only got 3 key points, so the flurries and steps of the wind will be few and far between. But that's fine, you can hit like a truck and break down everyone else's power like an encyclopedia. Try hard, punch harder, and fight your way to being the #1 hero. Just remember what happened to the last guy with your quirk. Pushing yourself too hard might not be the best idea. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We're making 31 builds this month. Join the Patreon for character sheets and subscribe to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.